And there's a bunch of us now.
Welcome, Jack. How
Yo,
goes? Kayla, good morning.
Hey, you're alive.
Barely.
You got power.
You know, being out for 60 hours does put a crimp in my schedule.
Wow.
Uh, well, worst case here has been 5 days, but that was last year, or no, 2 years ago in February. Anyway, I am back. It's good to take a shower. I
It's the
do it
little
every
things,
five
right?
days, whether I need it or not, okay? Uh, Anyway, Jack and I had a nice little chat yesterday. Jack, how was your intervening 22 hours?
um, that's hard to say. I got a lot of work. I started cleaning out the garage, which turns out to be important.
Yeah, that reminds me of something I have to do also. And hey, Kayla, how are you these days? I know that lots happened in the last 2, 3 weeks.
Oh, I'm okay. Yeah, it's been rough. I don't know what it is. I honestly don't. But,
Are you
huh? Am I
are you
what?
back at work yet, or are you still taking some time off?
I am back at work, although I think I should not be back at work. You know what I mean?
I do know what you mean. I think we had to talk about this a week and a half or two ago.
Hmm.
Did you see
Yeah.
the doctor?
What'd you say, Jack?
I'm asking Kayla if she saw a doctor.
No, I did talk to my spiritual counselor. I call this woman a spiritual counselor because, sorry, I have a piece of chocolate in my mouth.
I was about to ask what that was. Sounded like maybe lobster or prime rib.
I had leftover sushi this morning.
Don't tell me that. You cannot tell me that.
But to answer your question, I did see a spiritual counselor, and this woman is a part Native American. She's got, shaman education, whatever. Looks like she has an MFT. She's a dietitian too, and she's a psychic. So I first went with her a long time ago,
By the way, hey,
and
Kayla, your audio is breaking up and or coming in and out. Are you on your proper device?
have it. I'm on my AirPods, and they were charging overnight.
Okay. Did you
Is this
notice it,
better?
Jack, or was it just me? Yeah, that I could hear clearly.
Okay, because you're close to me. Like the phone's close to me,
Okay. Anyway,
but
sorry. Must be me.
it could be the dogs. Hey, you're barking too much, but
Oh yeah, there's a lot of background noise, and that's why the sound, the
stop
noise
it.
reduction keeps chopping off the audio, it seems.
Oh, okay. I have to fix that. So, anyways, I wanted to say that she talked to me very like normal. Everything seems normal. So I'm guessing I just have to go through what I'm going through right now.
Okay, so it's not a physiological problem, but something else.
Well, Jack, I
I
don't know
mean,
if
I
recall.
don't know.
Well, sorry, Kaylee. I guess you don't have to say that. Jack, Kayla's father passed away about a week and a half or two ago.
That, yes.
Yeah, I don't know. Probably that's probably it. Everything is kind of overwhelming. Um, you know, yeah, it's just hard.
So that being the case, we even appreciate you showing up here.
Yeah, well, I'm hoping to get inspiration from you guys.
We'll tell you what Linux to install. No, I'm just kidding.
Stop barking, barking too much.
Uh,
Anyways, well, I might have a new job. I'm really hoping I get a new job. This would be if I did get this. job, I'd be working with adaptive sports. So I'd be working with people who don't have the bodily means, or maybe even the mental means to participate in these type of sports. And then I'd be gearing up for the LA 28. So
Oh,
yeah, a whole new, this isn't, this is, I'm sure, trauma. And of course, like, it's always the same demographics that get hit, right? It's, marginalized, poor people of color. And so anyways, I spent a good hour and a half talking to the founder on Friday. Strangely enough, we were at a Hyundai dealership because he was getting his car fixed and he did want to interview me. They're looking to hire prior to Christmas. So they're, if I were to get this job, I'd get an offer very soon. But yeah, very different from what I'm used to. But the
so
same.
this is one you told me about maybe what, 2 or 3 weeks ago?
Probably, yeah. I'd be working a hybrid schedule in LA, 2 weeks in
Mhm.
the or 2 days in the office.
So it sounds like you and Melissa have broken up.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I think I'm going. I just went as far as I could with United Parents. I honestly, they have so many county contracts. I honestly don't know if they are looking to keep someone like me on board. You know what I mean?
Well, they
That,
can't assume that it's just going to always stay high.
that's what I've been trying to say, but unfortunately, I don't get much support um, with the leadership on that. Um, you know, I guess Melissa's priorities are in another arena. So I've just kind of let that go. People are going to do what they want to do, and they're going to learn at their own pace, including myself.
So, what would be a good thing the three of us could discuss that would draw us in, all three of us? I could ask a question.
Those are good.
The shaman that you work with, could I, over some amount of time after you vet me, could I ask her a question about the future?
Yeah, I'm sure you could.
Awesome. Would she
I
answer?
I do think that there's going to be a standard answer.
Well, since I'm new to the whole phenomena, I don't even know what the standard answer would be. I can guess, but it would be an uneducated guess.
Well, people who have these gifts and qualities that not many of us have tend to say that um like you can't really pinpoint your abilities. It's almost like being in a very dark room and kind of feeling with your hands. That was the best way I've heard it being described. Is you're in a dark room, you can feel things with your hand, but they have no time and no space. Like somebody once, not this person, but somebody had once told me that eventually I was going to marry again, but they just don't know when. And then this other woman told me that by the time I turn 50, I'm going to be doing what I love to do. And I've yet to find that. So I just don't think that, that ability is associated with time as we see it, you know? So I am reading this book, and I don't know if this is related, but it was something that has just got brought up. It's called Braiding with Sweetgrass. And it talks,
BRAID rating.
yeah, yeah. And it talks about plants, as living creatures. Like it just has all these discoveries that science isn't like nobody can really explain, which is fascinating. Just how trees talk to each other, like the discovery of trees being able to talk to each other, and how pecans like grow their nuts and why they grow their nuts. It's told from that angle of being connected to the earth and treating the earth like um a collaborator, you know. And then I believe the author is Native American, or at least part Native American, because she references a lot of their stories when it comes to the earth.
Do you know why I ask?
Why?
Jack, do you know why I ask?
No.
I'm always interested in phenomena I do not understand, and I'm trying to learn as much about it as I can. And part of learning is, of course, asking and experiencing and watching and listening. And so that's just the curiosity I have. So there was one other person one time before who had said that they have a person, I don't know how the person was referred to, but it's kind of like um she didn't use the word mystic, but like a mystic, someone who actually knew the truth about nature and could quote, she used the word downloading the truth from the universe. Okay, that was one of the phrases she used. And as I'm doing now, I tried asking as well. I wasn't able to get close to that person enough to be able to ask directly and learn directly. So I'm always curious about people who pop up in my network who maybe have some access to different kinds of sources that I'd like to learn about. So that's really why I'm asking. And I don't even know if, your mystic would be receptive to all of this, but that's why I'm curious, Kayla.
Mm.
And it's not even for any means for, my own benefit. I don't even care if, she doesn't tell me anything about my future or whatever. I'm just curious in how this whole thing works.
Maybe you're not supposed to find out. You know what I mean? Have
But
you
what
ever
does
thought
that
about
mean?
that?
What does that mean? What does it mean that, I mean, who's to say that I'm not supposed to find out?
Hmm. Well, it's kind of like love, right? Sometimes you're just not meant for the person as much as the curiosity and trying leads you to that. Sometimes you're just not compatible.
Okay, so can I push on that a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, it seems to me that there are hundreds of thousands, maybe even millions of cases where love is findable and lots of people, exhibit that they're in love and say that they're in love and say they experience love. So I know at least there's some existence proof that quote unquote love exists, and we don't even know how it's defined yet. So I'm still looking for that kind of existence proof. May not be that I would understand what's going on, but I think you at least have some understanding of what's going on. But if you say you're not supposed to understand it, then I'm asking or wondering, do you understand it and how that works?
What? No, we're not talking about love, right?
No, no, we're talking about
Okay, good. Thank
the
God.
the mysticism, the truth,
But
the special insights, special intuition aspect. Uh,
yeah, yeah, I don't understand it, but I do know it exists.
and it seems to have helped you, right? It seems to have made a
Uh-huh.
difference in your life.
Yeah, yeah. Did I tell you that my dad visited my mom?
Uh, wait, you mean after he passed?
Yeah.
No, you had not told me that.
Okay, so here's a really good example of so I have to give you guys the backstory because it makes an impact. The visitation will make an impact when I give you guys the backstory. So my mom wants to travel. She loved to travel when my dad was sick.
unfortunately, she wasn't able to do that. And he had recognized that too. In fact, he told me that I should take her out more and then he would pay for it. This was this past year. So anyhow, she finally went to one of her favorite places, Las Vegas. Several years ago, she even tried to, live in Las Vegas with my dad, but it didn't work out. Um, you know, so anyway, she went to Las Vegas, had a fantastic time. She was with my sister and two of her nieces, so two of my cousins. And anyhow, when she came back, my brother was gone, but she noticed that the lights and the candles were on. So she naturally, so okay, I'll explain the candles. There is like a little altar where my dad's photo is at, and there are two battery powered candles right next to his photo. And she turns it on every evening. But anyhow, so the day she came back from Las Vegas, they were on, and she assumed that my brother, who lives with her, turned them on. Didn't think anything of it. So before she went to bed, she turned them off. That's what she does every night. And anyhow, she was sitting in the living room the following day. It was daylight. She was sitting in the living room and she was watching TV. And one by one, those candles turned on. And so felt, I don't know if she felt a presence, but she knew it was my dad. And she told us, she goes, hey, you guys, either that night or the next day, like, hey, your dad visited me. And she told us what happened. So that day after that incident, um, hey, the day after that incident, I went to the house. I think it was a Sunday. I went to pick something up or do something, and she told me again about the candles. I said, did they turn on again? And she goes, no. So she goes, can you check to see if there's like an automatic timer or something on them? And she said, or I looked, you know, and I took the batteries out, I put them back in, looked inside. Nope, no timer. You have to physically turn them on. And then on top of that, she asked my brother, like, hey, did you turn on those candles, before you left to go somewhere? And my brother was like, no, I didn't. So I believe that was my dad. I believe he visited her, knowing that number one, he's been like his caretaker and his wife and everything forever. And that she loved to travel, but her main complaint was she can't go anywhere because she was taking care of him. He knows that. He knew that. In fact, before he passed away, he said, he told my mom when he gets better that they would travel. So I don't know. I feel like my dad is everywhere. And I just can't explain it. I don't know if that answers your question.
He's off in the forest getting
No, I
coffee.
have listened to the entire thing. I was letting it soak in.
Yes. And to me, it's a rare experience when a child is that close to their parents.
When your mom was telling you this story, how was she feeling?
Good. She actually felt really good. I told I told my psychic about it too. She said
Hmm.
that spirits have a very like gentle way, or people who pass have a very gentle way of reminding us that we're there. And they love to mess with lights. She said she even told me a story about how um, a friend had passed and they were celebrating this friend's life. A bunch of people were celebrating this friend's life in this person's apartment. And right when the party started, right when everyone got there, the lights, boom, went out. Like only their lights in this apartment went out. They could not turn it on. So, in honor of this person who passed, they lit up all these candles throughout the house, and it became like a really absolutely beautiful party. So, at the end of the night, um, she and another gentleman was there. I believe they were gay. It was like a gay couple, where one of the partners had. Anyways, it doesn't matter. That gentleman had said um, that his partner loved candlelight, and he loved like just in the evening bathing the whole place in candles. And so, when most everyone left, suddenly the lights turned back on. And she was saying it was likely, his spirit saying, if you guys are going to honor me, you're going to do it the way I had wanted to be honored. I also believe in evil. I believe there's evil spirits. I believe there's like, you know, evil things that can get attached to you and, you know, attack you. Maybe not in the violent sense that we're thinking, but in another spiritual violence sense.
What's the last trip your parents took together?
Um, I think they took a train to San Diego. Or maybe they went to Las Vegas. I really don't remember. Las Vegas, strangely, is my mom's favorite place, and my sister's. They just love Las Vegas, and I don't know why. It's another thing I maybe I'm not supposed to know why. Maybe they just love it, and that's it. You've disappeared, Sam.
I'm looking out the window. I've got my headphones on, so the audio is perfect. The connection is still fine. I hope it's okay on your end, but
Yeah, no, it's the first time I'm looking at the phone and I see.
I'm looking outside where it's drizzling, but I can see clearly across the water to the mainland. But it's very cloudy. That's the second time you've mentioned that there was something that someone was not supposed to understand. So I was really thinking or wondering about that particular
Phrase.
message. Yeah, because when I don't understand something, I guess the default is to
Right.
inquire, lean in,
Yeah.
and I'm wondering whether something else could be done. Like if I don't understand something, is there another approach? Should I just revisit it after a while, or should I let it go, or should I say it's okay that I don't understand? Or, but I never say I'll never understand it. That's something I usually don't find myself saying or thinking.
I personally like, if I don't understand something, I still like to hear stories about it.
Yeah, stories are great. Stories can generate lots of discussion and questions too.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess I like to lean into it.
Good. I was hoping that you wouldn't be bothered by my questions.
No, no, not at all.
Can I ask you, Jack, have you had friends or yourselves had any experiences with shamans or mysticisms or downloading insights or truth from the
Or
universe
ghosts.
or God or ghosts or felt evil spirits?
Oh, I think it goes back to uh, almost 60 years ago when I met a young woman at an airport, at a fly-in where people come and bring their airplanes there and show them off. I had a homemade airplane and took her for a ride in my airplane, and she asked if she could fly it. And surprisingly, she could. And surprisingly, because she's not a pilot, but she was just interested in it and had native talent. But at one point, she told me when we started dating that she'd gone to a card reader, and the card reader popped up a card and said, "Who's Jack?" And she said, "I don't know."
Wow.
And then she did know.
And then she didn't know.
That's like before Tinder.
Yeah, right.
Did she swipe right on that card?
Yeah, exactly. She swiped.
Well, remember, this was long before swiping was the thing.
If only everybody knew. All the psychics would be.
So that's one from way back. So in other words, not recently then, huh?
Not recently. But there is a science underneath some of the stuff, but not all of the stuff that uh, shamans and native, first people
Mhm.
understood. They understood it in their own vocabulary. What they didn't understand was that um, there's a whole communication network underground
Yep.
that ties the plants together. Um, and it's mycelia,
Yeah, mushroom
and
networks.
and and they pop up as mushrooms every once in a while. Some are good for you, and some will kill you. But it's that's just an expression of what's going on underground, and it's a
Yeah.
lot.
Not to mention tree roots, as someone already mentioned, and then the bugs.
Yeah.
That's the point. The mycelia
Mhm.
work synergistically with tree roots and any plant root,
Yeah.
and provide nutrients and things that the trees need.
Mhm.
Yeah. Oh.
There are
I'm
plants
always,
there
go
are
ahead,
plants
please.
that actually follow the sun.
Hmm.
And turns out that the science behind it is that they have certain plant hormones called auxins, which are light sensitive.
Hmm.
And when the sunlight hits them, it causes them to expand. And when it's not hitting them anymore, they shrink.
Hmm.
That causes, for example, sunflowers will sit there and track the sun just, just, just like clocks watching the time of day.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Since you mentioned that, that prompted me to come and water my spider plant.
Right.
I do that every Sunday. I managed to still keep it alive. When I think about these networks, like the tree networks underground, or the mycelial networks, or even the networks of synapses, in our brains, it just seems that there's so much we don't understand. And if we only look at the material aspects of it, like, this chemical goes to that synapse, or, this drop of water goes from here to there, we still are missing all the field like effects of it. And especially when people say, hey, we don't even understand how quantum fields affect the electrical activity in our brains. And that would certainly have some sort of impact on our consciousness or our thinking or our awareness. There's so much we don't understand.
Yeah.
And that stuff is so subtle, it can be affected by fields around us, which we're, normally not ever aware of. Let me ask you guys a question. Does the Akashic field mean anything to either of you? I don't know
Mm.
much about it either. Have you heard that term, either of you?
No.
Akashic? It seems to refer to this sort of field of memories that's basically not tied to any given living being. That these memories or this historical imprint seems to just be in the universe, or at least, in the environment. That's how I understand it. And I'm certainly no expert on Akashic fields.
Yeah.
But I think I'm really curious about what can be studied about it. What's frustrating to me is if there's something I don't understand, and yet there's no way to observe it, and there's no way to even inquire about it. That's when I get mildly frustrated.
Like
And stories are,
spirituality, huh?
no, no, there's a lot to say about spirituality, feeling connected to the, well, obviously it depends on how you define it. I don't define spirituality as in, hey, God's talking to me. I don't do it that way. But if I expand the notion of God and say the universe is sending me all kinds of signals and I am open to receiving those signals, Yeah, in some way that can be mapped, to the universe is talking to me, aka God is talking to me. That's the way I would sense it. I think spirituality is quite a rich field and quite a rich notion. And it's very discussable, in my opinion, very explorable, but not so much in the Bible thumping notion of spirituality.
Yeah, I don't connect with that either.
Actually, if I may ask, since I don't really know, were you brought up either Christian or Catholic?
I was brought up Catholic. How about you, Jack?
Presbyterian until one of the Sunday school teachers came in the room and told us that, we're the only ones that get to go to heaven. And I said, fuck this, and left, never went back.
How old were you at the time, Jack?
Oh, I don't know, 8 or 9, something like that.
Mhm. So at that time, had you already heard the other story, which was only Jews get to go to heaven?
Well, I hadn't heard that one. I was somewhat familiar with the something in Catholicism that said you had to have certain holy rites given to you within so many minutes of dying, or you wouldn't make it, or something like that. And I did go to a Catholic wedding once, big mass affair. But the only time I want to go in a church is if there's a pipe organ I can play.
My kids were during the what we had our viewing, and then during the viewing we had like the Hail Mary or the Rosary prayers, right? We had a
Mhm.
service on the viewing, and then we had an actual mass the day of the funeral. But obviously, me and my kids attended both. But the Rosary, they were like,
And we're in the front row, right? We're the family that's being honored. And
the priest is right there, and they're all like kind of shifting weight seats. I don't know why found it so funny. I wanted to be like, it's boring as hell. It was so fucking boring. Like my dad wasn't even religious, and so yeah, but they did so well. It was only an hour, straight up prayer, and I'm all just meditate. Okay, go take your mind somewhere else because my kids aren't Catholic. But afterwards, I checked in with him like, "Hey, how'd you guys did really well. At least you guys, I wouldn't have, I would have understood if they went up and made an excuse to go to the bathroom. But
Mhm.
yeah, to me, that's not spirituality. But who's to say? I have a feeling that even most Catholics these days, they understand, that religion is just kind of a means to be able to, connect people. That's how they connect to a higher self. But all of those prayers and all of that, the other, hoopla, I think that's like an individual's choice, and not it should not be used as like some sort of warning tool saying you're not going to go to heaven if you don't go to church. That's the feeling I get, but
Can I react to that?
yeah, sure.
I understand the connecting people part of it as a possible benefit. But if it's all underneath, you know, subtly all based on this threat, hey, if you don't do X, you're not going to go to heaven. Or if you don't do this, God's not going to love you. You know, to me, well, you know what I'm about to say.
Yeah, I think you're preaching to the choir.
Yeah, sorry.
It's okay. I've just been blessed to be around people who, even the priests and the deacon was really cool with us. They were very pushy of the fact that I'm not a practicing Catholic, and I didn't baptize my kids in that way or at all.
Mhm. So, I mean, this might be a little bit peripheral, but so if, let's say, I was not Catholic or I was not even Christian, and let's say somebody, who was responsible for my funeral contacted a Christian or Catholic church afterwards and say, hey, will you give them last rites? Does it matter to them or does it not matter to them that I wasn't particularly Catholic or Christian or even believed in that kind of God? Why would they even provide that service?
I
So
attend,
my go Jack.
I attended a wedding between uh, a Vietnamese woman and a Indian man, completely completely different religious spaces in their history, and yet it was presided by a Jew. And I asked him why he did it, and he said, because it's fun.
Mhm. That part I get. I can get that.
I honestly think that when you're in your last dying breath, and if you don't have, if you aren't religious and you request a priest or whatnot, they still come regardless of, your religion or non-religion.
It's their
Okay,
job.
I can get that. But let's say I'm already dead, right? So I didn't request it. So somebody else requested it on my behalf. I guess that's what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean, again, my dad wasn't religious. He did have a healthy fear of God. That was the funny part. We used to joke every time the few times he went to church, and I could probably count, using one hand. He was, he always like dropped a 20 in the collection basket, which was a lot of money because we only dropped in like $1 or $2. He always felt so obligated to drop all this money, but the mass and for the burial and the rosary was all for my mom. It wasn't for my dad.
Yeah, you always have to stop me if I get intolerable, but that's a really interesting turn of phrase. A healthy fear of God. You know, those three words, I don't even know how to even begin asking questions about that.
Maybe the proper wording would be a healthy respect for God.
Okay, that to me makes a little bit more sense. Jack, is that like, or Kayla, is that like Pascal's wager? If God
Who?
exists, if God doesn't exist, then, really the downside is Might as well, pay homage to God just in case he does exist.
I don't know, I guess.
He or she.
I guess. I mean, like some people put garlic on their windows to ward off vampires just in case they exist. I see no harm or no foul. Unless there's a garlic shortage, in which case that'd be very you know, wasteful.
Like, how do I ask these questions respectfully?
I think you're doing great. I just wish I had some answers for you. I don't have any answers. I think asking the question is completely acceptable, but I could see your frustration with having little answers
Part of my
and no
frustration
confidence.
is I don't know how far to ask before I start pissing people off.
Well, Barry is not here. I think you're safe. I think he was the only one who'd get pissed off.
Sorry for laughing.
No, it's okay. I'm glad you laughed first.
I don't know, Jack, if you were ever witness to any of those altercations.
Probably not.
At least 4 or 5 of them are on the record, just in case you're ever curious. But yeah, I would sometimes just push and push and push and push, and Barry blew up at me about half a dozen times.
Yeah, yeah, it sucked. Every time Sam asked a question about religion, Barry would automatically get so defensive. He was very religious. Um, but yeah, I think he was just really sensitive about that. He really he believed in that, and it was a hard subject for him.
And I don't know if you know this about him, but Jack, Barry had, I think it was PhD in systems science or systems engineering from Stanford.
I didn't know it was from Stanford.
Yeah. So it's probably what, maybe about a decade before I was there, something like that. So Kayla, I really, really would, and it's not urgent at all, but if there's ever an opportunity where I could learn from your shaman or even have a quick conversation with your shaman, I would be very, very appreciative for that opportunity.
Gotta run. See you all.
Thanks,
Hi,
Jack.
Jack.
I just recall a funny moment, Kayla.
Yeah.
It's been a couple of weeks since you were on one of these sessions, I think. Do you remember the last topic that we talked about just before you
Uh,
signed off?
oh, technology.
Nope. Eh, strike one.
I don't remember. What was it?
You said you had to go number two, and I said, "Hey, there's no reason you can't stay on the call." And you
Oh
said,
yeah, yeah, yeah. No, that's
"I
that's
thought that
a.
was hilarious."
I have some funny number two stories. It was nice to.
Okay, now's the time. There's nobody else here. Let's go.
No, I was last weekend. I was at a competition and with Max and his dance group, and so
Uh-huh.
one of the parents I actually sort of kind of grew up with. Our parents used to be in the same circle. And so it was really nice to connect with her. And her daughter gets along with Max. But, anyways, I was hanging out with them while the kids were practicing. And we all had lunch together. And it was funny. I forgot how we got to the topic of like, running to the bathroom. But we're just talking about the most embarrassing moments is like when you have to go so bad that it hurts your stomach. And I don't know if you've ever experienced this where you're like sweating because it hurts.
There
And then
have been embarrassing moments, yes.
then you finally sit down on the toilet and just it all explodes uncontrollably.
You know that scene from Dumb and Dumber?
I forget.
Oh, come on. If you had ever watched Dumb and Dumber, you would never forget that scene.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. God, we were all just laughing about like the most embarrassing moments,
Well, you know,
where we
next
had
time
to
at a
leave the bathroom.
oh yeah, right. And make sure that the fan is on, that you sprayed it if there's ever kind of any kind of a Febreze in there.
Or you have to leave really fast because
We go out there and say, "Oh man, don't go in there."
hey, don't do that to him. Hey, shh, don't. Sorry, my girl dog is pestering
Your
Rocky.
girl dog is Eclipse.
Yeah, yeah. Yesterday was her birthday. She turned 3, and she was pestering her older brother.
I remember when she was a baby and you first got her.
Yeah, oh my God. Those I only was able to hold her in my arms like a little baby for like a month, I think.
And then she got big.
And then she got big really fast. Yeah. Yeah, she's so
To
cute.
me,
She's still my cuddle dog.
huskies are hilarious. They got those crazy eyes. I always
Yeah,
laugh whenever I see husky eyes.
yeah. Rocky has
I
crazy eyes.
don't all huskies.
No, Eclipse's eyes are brown. Or actually they're red. Excuse me. In the light, they're like totally red, but her pupils are just always dilated.
Oh,
Yeah, they're
this is
huge.
Gaia, by the way.
Aww.
She's a
So
75-pound lap dog. Yeah, what?
I was thinking about you this past week, like what happened in Washington? I mean, you guys are what atmospheric river? What was that like?
Well, you probably saw some of the footage or photos of the flooding, right?
Yes,
So
I
that
saw them in
preceded
Leavenworth.
everything. But I was, yeah, as you know, I'm 300 feet above the water, so I wasn't affected by the flooding. But I think it was Tuesday night. Clearly, we had some high wind warnings, and sure enough, right around midnight, lights went out. All the power went out. Now, 2 days prior, lights had gone out also, but that time they restored it within 5 hours. But this time, when I looked on the outage map, it was like 9 or 10 minutes after midnight or something like that on Wednesday morning, Tuesday night. I looked at the outage map, and it looked like all of Western Washington, or at least the northern part of Western Washington, was all out. So I said, "Geez, that's really gonna it's gonna be a multiple day thing." And sure enough, it took 2.5 days. So I have a whole stash of candles, and we used a lot of candles. But the problem was, my phones would die after a day. So I had to always go to the library and charge up my phones and try and get on the internet. But I wasn't able to trade. The response time wasn't good for the network at the library, and I was too afraid to get into a trade and not be able to get out. So I just did practice trading for 3 days. So that was a problem. And then I had other things to deal with, on the rental front, which got delayed.
Yeah.
And did I tell you I got a 40-foot cargo container?
Yes. Yeah, you did.
Yeah. So I haven't even been able to start loading that up yet because it's been raining and it's been muddy out there.
Yeah.
And I haven't even prepared the floor of it yet. I don't want to just put stuff right onto the cargo container. I want to put some like tarp or,
Right. Right.
something else down.
Yeah.
And when it's raining, I don't feel like taking these dogs. I mean, you're better than I am, but I don't like to take these dogs out for a walk. Not that the rain bothers me, but I don't like it when the dogs track mud back into the house. And I'm not
Yeah.
good enough about wiping off their mud, before they come
Yeah.
back
Yeah.
in.
Yeah.
So I've been
Yeah.
kind of
I'm
bored.
the same way. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I'm the same way. I don't take them out. Um, there's 2 days out of the week that I don't take the dogs out for a walk because I need the mornings to myself. I need to sleep in, you know, all of that good stuff.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But like this one here, man,
Yeah.
she'll stay here as long as I let her. I think the
Aw.
longest I've ever been able to go is like 45 minutes, and they don't move. They just like to stay.
Aw.
I think they remember when they used to be like 6 or 8 inches long, and they used to sleep on my chest. So they're very cuddly. So here's the question: do you have a fireplace?
Yes, I do.
Did you put candles above your fireplace?
No. There are
Uh,
pictures above my fireplace.
you could try putting candles up there and see what happens.
Yeah.
Oh, geez. Is today the 21st?
Yeah.
Is it the first day of winter?
Um, yeah, I guess the winter solstice is either today or it was yesterday.
Yeah, holy smokes. Man, I kept thinking, oh, it's going to be a few weeks, going to be a few weeks. Man, it's here already. Wow. It just felt like it was summer just a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
In the meantime, I've been compiling lists of places to visit in Italy and Thailand and Vietnam and
Oh,
Japan.
nice. Great.
Man, it's so amazing what I hear. And now, obviously, a lot of it's filtered through Facebook and Instagram and others, but man, so many phenomenal places to go.
Yeah.
And I'm a foodie, so I love watching people talk about the food that they get, when they go to these places. It's
Yeah.
just phenomenal the kind of food you can get, and they always say, "And it's only $6," or "And it's only $3. You
Yeah.
people can eat here for what, $30? Fancy
Right.
meal." Yeah, man, really, really, really hard thing is to think about how do I get dogs and my cat wherever I want to go.
Yeah.
That's one of the bigger logistical issues.
Well, Um, if you when you find a place to settle down overseas, there are like independent transportation, options for like charter planes, but they're a bit expensive.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it might be worth it though. I mean, but I don't know. You've got Goldens.
Yeah.
I
Hmm.
feel like they're a little mentally easier, but I could be wrong.
Did I tell you that I found out in Italy or one of the Italian airlines actually has said, hey, dogs are okay in the main cabin?
Yeah,
That's so awesome.
yeah,
I don't think any US airlines have ever said that.
yeah,
I mean, I know that they're allowed up to 22 pounds, and if they're in some sort of a dog carrier, but this thing will not fit in a dog carrier that I could carry.
yeah. Aw.
Yeah, they're pretty cuddly. When I'm sleeping, two of them will be pressed up right against my left side, and the cat will either be between my legs or just on the right side of my legs.
Yeah, nice.
That's a great way to, fall asleep.
Hey, I have a question to ask you about
Yes, ma'am.
learning styles.
Yes, ma'am.
Are you familiar with like learning styles, ADHD, all of that good stuff? Have you read about that or studied any of
Not
that?
specifically for ADHD, but I am familiar with what people say about learning styles.
Okay. So, Max is an honors English. I think I've told you that before.
Yes.
And we had an issue with his journals. So he was supposed to turn his journal book in the third week of, or second or third week of November. And then, so let's assume it was the second week of November he was supposed to turn it in. So the third week of November, he got like a whole class got an extension. If they didn't turn it in for a week, then didn't turn it in, then they had that week to turn it in. So
Hmm.
anyhow, here comes the month of December, and I'm looking through his um, the parent online portal, and I see that he has 25 points missing for his journal entries. And
Hmm.
I'm like, oh, what's this? And he goes, oh, I did my journals. I just turned it in. I just need to turn it in. I'm like, well, why don't you just turn it in? So next thing you know, I'm asking him, first week of December, did you turn it in? Oh, no, we had a sub. Okay, well, then turn it in when you don't have a sub. Second week of December, did you turn it in? Oh, no, this teacher was really stressed. Okay, she's really stressed. Okay, but you got to get that in. And then at that point, I'm explaining to him, if you do the work, all you have to do is like just turn it in. Like, why would you not do the work? And why would you do the work and not turn it in? And he's like, well, I forgot because the notebook was in my room. And I don't think about it. And then the third week comes, I'm like, you are almost in the last week, the last days. I said, you have, he's probably gonna hate it when I tell you this, but he has a D plus in English, honors English. And I said, you've bombed all of your tests. All you have to do is turn your work in. Okay. Let's make sure that your book report is good and any project that you turn in is solid. I've looked at his tests. They're difficult. They're not easy. And you know, being that he doesn't have very good reading comprehension, then if he has to do a lot of reading about boring subjects like the Odyssey and a bunch of other boring stuff, then obviously he's not going to he's not going to pay attention to that. So my whole thing is, if a class is difficult, fine, do your bare minimum, do your work. That way you get credit for it, and you'll probably get a C. Well, he's got a D plus. And then I said, hey, let's get you your journal in, because that might change it to a C minus. Then if you bomb on your test, then you'll get a D, and that's still passing. Okay, I'm fine with that. Just don't get an F. And sure enough, the last week of school, I'm like, what's up with your journals? Why can't you turn it in? And he goes, oh, well, I thought he made some weird excuse, like, oh, I ripped out the page and I could bring it in, or something like that. And then I'm like, what the fuck? Wait, what? And he said, um, well, his teacher would accept it the last day of school. And I'm like, okay, great. So in the morning, I said, did you bring your journal with you? And he's like, yes. And I said, okay, make sure that's taken care of. While he's in school, I text him. So, how did it go in English? Good. All right. Did you turn your journal entry in? No, she said that she's not accepting it anymore. And I thought she said she would. And he said, well, she changed her mind. So I write an email to the teacher. It's a respectful email, like, hey, there might be a miscommunication. I said, but here's the chain of events with that journal. And I said, so did he get it wrong the first time? And so I'm thinking, dude, this is Friday, okay? Or this is right before winter break. And, I'm picking up Max anyways. So I go into the classroom, tell Max to meet me in the classroom. And the teacher straight up starts lecturing him. It was really embarrassing about how she had told him like a month ago that he can no longer turn his journal entry in because it's late. And that week after week, she kept telling him. And then she gets an email from him. And then she gets an email from me. And she keeps telling him it's not, like, you can't turn it in. And so I was so mad. I was mad, number one, because I was very embarrassed about everything that took place. Because, here's mom, and I'm mad. Like, number one, at the communication error or issue or whatnot. I don't know if he was lying to me, or if he really believed he could turn it in, or if he had a narrative in his head. And then the second thing I was mad at was, why would you do your work and not turn it in? So I realized he has a disorganization issue. Like, he just is disorganized. He doesn't know how to put deadlines for himself. He doesn't know how to remind himself things. I mean, classic example is this weekend. He had forgotten that he has quinceanera that he said he would go to. There was no way for him to remember. And of course, that compounded my ire. And it reminded me of the fact that his teacher lectured him in front of me, which I was very embarrassed about. So, do you have any tips, any suggestions? Should I just let him fail? Because I'm trying to get him on board, but I can't always be on top of him. Even when I am on top of him, it seems like he still misses the boat.
I'm thinking at least three things. So can I think my way through this?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so number one, have you seen the journal entries? Do you know that they exist?
Yes.
Okay, so they're not missing, in other words.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, that's good. Then I have two thoughts on this. Number one, I don't know yet, based on what you said, whether he actually lied to you. Did he lie to you?
He says he didn't, and he normally doesn't. But I think
But he
did.
misrepresented the teacher's position on turning in the journal.
Yeah.
So I think that's something to lean into and really figure out what's going on there. Because that to
Yeah.
me sounds like he lied to you.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Why would he put me on this wild goose chase? Like, and I keep telling him that. he's
He
afraid.
was deferring the pain. He didn't want to face it, so he just wanted to put it off.
Yeah.
He didn't know that, of course, sooner or later it's going to hit. But as
Yeah.
long as he could put it off, he's going to put it off. And that's a standard behavior pattern. I'm guilty of that myself.
Yeah.
So he, I think, did misrepresent what the teacher told him about turning in the journal. So I guess that's something you and he might want to go figure out how to deal with that one. But the third one is much more mundane. I have a third thought. I actually think that people think that calendars are so simple. To me, a calendar is one of the hardest tools to learn how to use. And nobody understands that when I say it. But it really is very difficult because a calendar can keep your life less chaotic if you learn how to use it well. But a calendar requires that you change your life in order to incorporate a calendar into your life and let it help you. And that's an area that I think would really help Max. Now, I don't know if he can actually learn how to use a calendar because it does take discipline to learn how to use a calendar. But if he can learn how to use a calendar, and by this I really mean Google Calendar, not a paper one, okay?
Yeah.
Then it could really, really help his life. Very much so.
Mm-hmm.
So I think, you got to figure out how to deal with the fact that Max lied to you and then figure out whether or not you or somebody else wants to teach him how to use a calendar.
Yeah.
And believe me, it's not easy. I have trouble getting my kids to learn how to use a calendar. And adults refuse to learn because they think the calendars are so simple. And I'm just, disrespecting them by saying you got to learn how to use a calendar because it's not that easy. It's one of the hardest tools for people to learn how to use.
That's really interesting that you said that because I find it so easy to learn. And I guess I'm fortunate because I'm around people who
Yeah.
know how to use a calendar. Like,
You are structured, you are disciplined, you know how it can help you. But there are a lot of people who do not see that.
interesting. So
A
interesting.
lot. Very many. Very many. And I think Max is going to be one of them.
Yeah. So you don't think that has anything to do with ADHD?
No. ADHD will affect whether or not he's willing to learn and willing to use a calendar. That's why I say it's going to be difficult.
Mm, I see. I'm glad I talked to you. That makes me feel better.
No, if you learn how to use a calendar and you never miss events and you're always on time, kudos to you. You're like, one of the 2 or 3% of people who can do that. Well, it may be more than that, but 2 or 3% of people to whom that's painless. A lot of people can do it, but it really is difficult.
Yeah.
But they live with it. But you're probably one of those who just naturally understands and can set reminders well and can plan for, follow-up time and can plan for preparation time and driving time and proper kinds of reminders and not too many reminders. And you want to do it in text or do you want to do it in email or do you want to pop up on your phone or do you want to pop up on your desk computer? There's all these little details that if you do it wrong, then it just gets in the way. You don't want 50,000 reminders. You can't tell which one is important, but you also don't want zero. And then when a reminder pops up, you don't want to snooze it right away. These are all aspects of learning how to use a calendar properly that people don't understand. And it's difficult for them to tune that behavior so that it works for their life.
Yeah.
I
Interesting.
think calendar and time management is a huge part of collaborology and collaborationships.
Yeah, I think that's also why I struggle with Melissa. I think she was one of those people,
Ah, see, there you
you know?
go.
She
You
just
know,
doesn't have any concept of like the impact of time and, effectiveness and efficiency for that matter. But go ahead, you were going to say something?
if that theme could be broached gently, she would see your value in a probably a brand new, very impactful way.
Hmm.
But looks like that ship has sailed.
Well, it has because I'm looking for another job.
Mhm. But she
Yeah.
could still dive off the deck and swim towards the ship and say, "Please, please, please, I still love you. Don't leave me."
Ah. Well, then she'd have to give me $30,000 more because that would be
Or get down on
about,
her knees and give you a ring.
yeah. Because that would be about, when it comes down to it too, I really need to take care of my family, and
Yeah, I
there's
get it.
other things too that have
Right,
transpired that
right.
is why it's overwhelming. It's not just my dad or Max, it's Damien too and his dad. I've discovered some things that really made me really sad. I don't want to go into too much detail about it, but
Okay.
it's kind of like when when he was here living with me and he was acting like a jerk and it was boring to be here, and he hated mom and he loves dad, and like we just weren't connecting. I still gave him the space to be angry and be himself and like to think his thoughts, and I hoped that when he went to live with his dad, he would have a little bit more insight of me as a person, how distance kind of makes that. But a part of me also hoped that he, of course, was happy and that decision was the best decision. Now, I don't know if that was, it's got to be the best decision, right? Because you learn from your mistakes and you learn. But anyways, I told him the other night that I don't worry about him academically. I said, you get things, you get core things. You can read a book without tuning it out. You can grasp concepts like, just a few times. You do the bare minimum and it's effortless. So obviously academics is easy for him. He is a true like rational thinker. He's very like, I've got to talk to you about our conversation about capitalism. Like he thinks it's the system's fault and not the individual's fault. It was amazing. It was amazing to talk to him about that. Anyways, I digress. The thing that I do worry about is his emotional intelligence, mainly because he is living with his dad. And, certain things have transpired that that makes him not want to be around, not want to go to his own home. So it's kind of like almost the "I told you so" like thing I was trying
Wait,
to tell you.
his home meaning Kitty's place or his home
Yeah,
meaning your place?
no, his home meaning his dad's place.
Oh, so he doesn't want to go there.
He doesn't want to. Sometimes he just doesn't want to go back home. Yeah, I mean, we all like it's all hearsay, right? It's not, hey, shh, no, don't eat rocks. It's all like, um, as teenagers, I even felt that way at some point, but I always felt safe to go back home. And there's no obvious danger. The danger is like the small things that are chipping away at a person that can be dangerous. You know, if anything, that might be. No, I'm not going to say that. But anyhow, it was one of those things where it's kind of like, oh, I told you so. Yeah, like you don't want to say that because you really hope that they're happy and that you're wrong. But in my heart, I was right. So anyhow, long story short, I have to make as much money as I can to support both of my kids should anything transpire.
Yeah.
And so that's the bottom line of leaving United Parents.
Mhm. Is Damien 17 already, or is he
Yes.
still?
Yeah. Yeah. He didn't apply for Stanford. I'm sad. I'm like, I bet you had an opportunity to go to Stanford. He has a 4.2 GPA. Just a
Mhm.
good, just a really good kid.
Mhm.
you know.
Why
I
did he
do
not?
believe he really wants to go to UCLA. He wants to go where he wants to go, you know?
How did
I
he
just
know
feel
anything
like
about these colleges?
how does he?
Yeah.
I don't know. He did his research, I guess, you know.
I'm just looking at myself when I was at that age. I said, I knew nothing about colleges. I didn't care where I went.
Yeah. No, he really
I
wants to
just
go to
let my parents
UCLA.
pick.
He even said, like, we were passing by, he drove home on Friday from Long Beach. I was in the car with him, but I was like, "Can you drive?" I'm fucking tired, dude. I went from Ventura to Van Nuys. I came back. I was exhausted, and then I drove back all the way back up to Long Beach. And by the time I got to Long Beach, I asked Damien if he could drive, and he said yes. So we're driving, and he's doing a good job. And he passes. He's all, "That's where UCLA is." And he's getting all happy about it. And I'm like, "Oh my God, you really want to go to UCLA?" And he's like, "Yeah, I really want to go there."
It's probably friends. He's probably got friends who want to go there.
Probably.
I don't know if
Or
you've
he,
heard the standard spiel about Stanford. Back when I was trying to go to school, the old saying was, California girls are beautiful. 9 out of 10 California girls are beautiful, but the other one goes to Stanford,
Aww.
which I didn't think was true once I got there.
Yeah, yeah. One of my dance friends got a full ride scholarship to Stanford. She's gorgeous.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And she was like a champion Ori Tahiti dancer too. Full
Mm.
ride scholarship. She ended up working for the House of Representatives in DC.
Is she still there?
No, not anymore. But she was
Okay.
working for the I forgot where she was who she was working for, but yeah. But go ahead.
Is she still in the political arena?
I have no idea. I follow her on Facebook, but she doesn't post much. I know she's a mom, got two
I'm
kids.
curious to get
She's
her take on politics and what's going on right now with the administration.
yeah.
Yeah, so if there's a chance, invite them to these calls.
Yeah,
Hell, I'd
absolutely.
love to talk to your shaman on these calls.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, you know what she said to me this past week? She said she sees male energy around me. And she asked me if I was dating. And um, she said that like guys want to date you, but you're not very open.
Mm.
And I'm like, yeah, you're right. She goes, I think you should open up. She goes, she goes, I see it in your, and that's where she was talking about like timeline. She goes, it's the energy is there. I just can't nail the timeline. And she goes, you just don't, you aren't open. And she was laughing at me when I told her about like, I don't know, that I don't like to hang out with girls that talk about men. Like I don't call them. I don't want to talk to them.
Mhm.
Like, and she was
Mhm.
laughing. She was, why? And I'm like, I don't want to fucking talk about a man. And she she was laughing and she goes, well, you not all men suck. And she even told me to tell like she goes, well, we all know what we don't want, okay? And she goes, why don't you tell a man what you do want? If you find a man you're interested, tell him what you do want because men are stupid. She was all like, yes, men are dumb. And they don't know what you want. And so you need to tell them what you want. And I was like, okay, I'll let that simmer a little bit.
So wait. Does she have a man?
No, she doesn't.
Aha.
I just realized she's recently single. Yeah. She had a man, but
I think
yeah,
she's feeling that gap in her life.
probably.
She's thinking, I could be a whole lot happier with a good man, not that other guy, but a good man. And so she's
Yeah.
telling you the same thing.
Maybe. Maybe.
Yeah, give me your phone number. I'll call her up and tell her they don't exist.
So the part of it, I, I don't know. It doesn't. It kind of scares me a little bit because now I feel like I'm set in my ways. I mean, I've got two dogs, and Eclipse sleeps with me on the bed. You know, I wake up in the middle, like you and I were talking about farting and shitting. I don't know if I could like talk to another guy about that. You know, I think it'd be weird and disgusting. You know, like, so just stuff like that. That just um, she even told me, and she was like, I forgot what she asked. She goes, "Well, what do you think about guys?" And I said, "I'll be really honest with you. It's just not going to sound good, but I just think like it'd be really nice to not pay for my somebody else paid for my dinner."
Hmm.
I said, honestly, that's the thing I think about. It's terrible. You know, it'd be really nice if somebody bought me a gift and like took me shopping. But I don't really think about other things like that. It would be nice to have a companion, I suppose, or cuddle, or watch a movie together. You know, cook together, and then like sit down and relax and watch something that I can get into.
Hmm.
But this this one guy, I don't find him attractive whatsoever. And every time I talk to him, he always tells me how attractive I am. I'm like, no, stop it. If you want me to like you, stop saying that. That's what I want to say. Just don't talk about me being attractive. And then, like, I keep thinking, oh, let me just get out of my comfort zone and listen to him, even though I want to barf. And he's all like, you promise me that you'll let me take you out to dinner. I just see dinner and a view. And then in my head, I'm like, oh, like, I was like, yeah,
That's
yeah, one
step
of these
number
days.
one. Yeah, it's a slippery slope.
I'm so happy he hasn't
We can see
texted
it
me
from
or
a
called
mile
me.
away.
So, like, I'm so happy. I hope that he just like moved on.
Can I tell you a great awkwardness story?
No, tell me.
When I was in my 30s, I had a little department that I was running at the company. It was about a dozen people, all really, really smart people, but, geeks, technical guys. And there was this one guy, he was a Polish guy. I'm not going to tell you his name because, it's a very unique name, so it will really identify him. But
Yeah,
his standard spiel was, boy, he could never get a date with anybody, So at that time, my ex-wife and I were pretty serious. We were probably already engaged at that point. And so she worked on the same project that this guy worked on. And for some reason, they got to be friends. And he kept asking her, how come girls won't date me? How come girls won't date me? All this sort of thing. So she felt kind of sorry for him. And eventually, like tried to at least get her sister to go out one time with this guy. And her sister used to be a tennis player on the high school team, so she was pretty fit, and she was always in high demand. And so this guy thought it was so awesome that my ex-wife would actually, try and talk her sister into going out one time with him. So they
yeah,
went out, you know, and 45 minutes later, she came back. And so she asked what happened. And she said, well, they sat down at a table, and then this guy started talking about, you're so beautiful. I would like to sit in the forest and pick leaves from your hair. And at that time, she just thought, okay, fine, I've had enough of this. I don't like where this is going. And she just left.
yeah. Oh my gosh.
And I'm sure he meant it seriously, and sincerely.
Yeah, yeah,
But boy, you can
yeah.
sort of smell the desperation.
Yeah. Smell the desperation. That is correct.
And so my ex-wife was kind of sorry she set her sister up for that.
Yeah, that is kind of cheesy. Yeah, isn't.
Oh, I'm sure he practiced that line many times before he delivered it. I'm sure I didn't deliver it as well as he did, but I only got the gist of it.
Pick leaves out of your hair.
Yes, literally, he said, I could just look into your eyes and pick leaves out of your hair.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever thought of any similar line or anything remotely like that.
Yeah.
Uh, mm. Anyway, yeah, so some guys really are desperate. I guess these days they call them incels.
That's where that
I've heard
term
that term.
is. I know. I'm all like, what's an incel? And then yeah.
I recently learned what that means just in the last several months. Yeah, but the more I see about how guys behave, it really is. Men are slime. They really are. And, it only takes a little bit of common sense to get past that slime mold stage. But people don't get it.
Yeah. Yeah. Very rare is the ability to have a conversation with the opposite sex, like a real
Ooh,
conversation, like you
are
and
you
I are
saying this is
having.
rare? Is this
Yeah.
rare?
Yeah. That's why I call you
Hmm.
and text you and
Hmm.
message you because I can't do that with other guys.
And you can tell me
Turns
about
out
going number
weird.
two. Hey, do you have to go number two yet
Yeah.
today?
One of these days, I'm just going to hang up on you because those extra words make me like,
I'm not going to say,
make
oh,
it
I
want to
know why
come
she
out
hung
really
up. She's
fast.
going number two.
Because she had to go.
That's right. Yeah, 22 minutes
Oh,
later, you come
man.
back.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. It's really sad to be seen as quote unquote a member of the quote unquote men group of humanity.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to date a guy if I was a woman. I
You
do
know
know
that.
some decent guys. Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, really? Are they single?
Let me think.
Probably not, huh? They're probably
Let
married.
me think. Let me think. Let me think. Let me think. Well, let's see. I can't think of any close to your age.
Older or
Most of the
younger?
decent guys, most of the decent guys I know are older.
I don't mind. I don't care.
Ah, smell of desperation.
Yes.
Uh,
it's so there's very rarely that I see like a older woman and an attractive older woman having sex with like a younger man. Um, where it's like, oh, okay. And it just comes from my personal belief. If you're older, you know, especially if you're an older woman, kudos to you. Go for it. In a way, I'm a little jealous if that's the case. But I know this is fiction. There is one older woman in Hollywood or like in the movies that find to be so attractive, just in general. I don't know what her real name is, but she is in this TV show called Emily in Paris. She's very sexy, and you see images of her or like scenes of her like having sex with way younger, highly attractive men. And a part of me is like, yeah, that fits because it's the character combined with her physical looks. I mean, she is an exceptionally attractive older woman. But I can't see myself do that. I can't see myself be that
There's a
kind of
word for
woman.
this, right?
A cougar, yes.
Yeah.
No, she is like a champion cougar. I mean, I wish I had that woman's looks and her sexual demeanor because she's just like she's one of those older women that you're just like she's hot. It's usually the younger women, that are touted as like extremely beautiful and hot and all of that stuff. But no, this older lady is hot.
You know who Kate McKinnon is?
No,
She's a really, really, really funny woman on SNL.
Kate
She does Saturday Night Live.
Saturday Night Live. What's the last name?
Kate McKinnon.
Okay.
She does great, great impersonations.
Okay.
And she's one of my daughter Veronica's favorite women. I mean, she's just so talented. She's really funny. And she is unabashedly gay.
Nice.
And she says that she has the hottest crush on the woman that played in the X Files. Do you remember the X Files? You
Yeah,
ever
of
watch it?
course I do. Yeah,
Gillian
I sure
Anderson.
did.
She
Yes.
even, like put together either a TikTok or a reel or something like that saying, boy, she was really hot for Gillian Anderson. And Gillian, like you should cut your hair, dye it red and call me. So she was that explicit about it. And so Gillian Anderson was seen on a talk show talking about the fact that she actually saw Kate McKinnon post this video. And I got to say, Gillian Anderson, X Files was what, 30, 40 years ago? But on this talk
Uh-huh.
show, she looked really good.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So I can see how Kate McKinnon was like had the hots for her.
Oh, nice.
I think it was serious. But Kate McKinnon is funny. She's one of the funniest women I can ever say saw work. She's just hilarious. I got to post that video
Awesome.
for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's, she's hilarious. Kristen Wiig is also hilarious. Both of them
Yes.
together, yeah, that's a combination.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, okay. This woman, her name is she's only 62. Her name
Who?
is Philippine Leroy. Let's see.
Oh, are you talking about the
Philippine,
woman in Emily in Paris?
yeah,
Oh,
Philippine Leroy Bolio.
oh, she's only 62. Oh, she's
Bolu.
younger than
Yeah.
I am. She's not old.
Philippine Leroy Bolu. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, she's beautiful.
How do we get onto this topic?
I don't know. Oh, we were talking about like men and
Oh yeah, men are slime. Yeah, that's
oh
true.
yeah, you were talking about no, that's right. The guys that are single that are really cool are older.
Oh, right, right. Yeah. I don't know any young guys. I mean,
And then
I
you
don't
called
know
me
that they're
desperate.
slime really. I can't prove that they're slime, but I do have to
Jack was
say though that what? Say
you do
again?
have to say what?
You're about to say something about Jack? I gotta hear
Yeah,
this.
he was really quiet.
Yeah, I was kind of curious how he would take that whole topic of mysticism and shamanism, but I think you and I were really receptive to what he had to say about it.
Yeah.
Yesterday I did bring up something that was not quite so mystical.
Yeah.
For the record, I had prepared, there was a blog, a video that someone had posted, really brilliant post by some woman. And it was about Project 2028, which was the quote unquote left slash liberal slash progressive slash smart response to Project 2025. So that got some airplay yesterday. So Eric and Jack and Heiner and I had a bit of a time talking about Project 2028, just for the record.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, I was thinking, I was about to say, most of my cousins in my extended family, the guys I know, they seem like pretty decent people. On the other hand, there could be aspects of their lives that I don't know.
Right.
But yeah, we do get together for family reunions, and they seem to have well-adjusted kids and seem to get along with their wives. And I think those guys are doing pretty well.
Good.
And a couple of them went to UC Berkeley, a couple of them from UCLA. In fact, my cousin Gene and his wife Terry, they're both from UCLA. Man, they have had lifetime memberships to Disney for forever. I mean, she is probably a bigger Disney fan than you are, even. They
Oh,
go like several
wow.
times a year, and they live in the Bay Area. Yeah, Terry's crazy about it. And the other thing I like about them is, or especially Terry, she's a Trekkie, so she's pretty
That's
cool
right.
with Trek and science fiction and Disney. That's her combination.
She's a super nerd.
Yeah, yeah. Gene has a
I
good
always
story about how they met.
I always could tell when someone's a super nerd is when they like when they're Trekkies. I'm like, oh
Yes,
dang, you were really smart
yes,
then.
yeah, yeah.
Those are super nerds.
One good way to filter people out.
I gotta start watching Star Trek then. When I was younger, I was more partial to like X-Men,
Mm,
But I guess yeah, that was just me.
mm.
But people talked about Star Trek in the few episodes that I watched. I always thought it was kind of weird, but it was fascinating. Just not fascinating enough for me to continue watching it. But now maybe I'll have a different perspective.
The original series, you'll find it so cheesy because they're compared to today's media, there are no special effects,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
the
yeah,
stories are good. The stories are really, really good, and they bring up good themes and topics, and they were really pioneering for their time. Like they had a black communications officer in the 60s.
yeah.
They
Wow.
had an Asian guy on the bridge in the 60s. He was even gay in the
Yeah,
60s.
yeah.
They had a Russian guy. So DEI was in full effect in the
On that
60s
set, yeah, for sure.
when no other
Yeah.
show would do it. In fact, it was even in the 70s where Bruce Lee couldn't even get onto the show that he actually wrote. Had to give
Wow.
it to David Carradine, a white guy, to play an Asian guy.
That was
So I
funny.
think, Star Trek really, really was pioneering in bringing up, key themes for people to explore. And that, I think, is really the value of science fiction. That
Yeah.
really is at the core of it. That's why I think Star Trek is really, really an achievement. And it's grown in cult status because, when it was introduced, only geek nerds could appreciate it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then the later seasons, yeah, they went more into special effects, and I'm not sure the writing was nearly as good. And I didn't like some of the cheesy characters, like Wesley Crusher. Boy, I couldn't stand him. Did you watch the TNG series?
No, I did not.
Yeah, he was a milk toast of a teenager.
Did I tell you there was a time in my life where I just refused to watch television, like watch anything on TV? I would
That's
watch
good.
movies, but
That's
I
smart.
didn't like it was a good chunk of my life too. At least a
Hmm.
decade, at least.
Yep.
Might have been even more.
Yep. Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're actually about 5 or 10 years, starting in 1993, where I didn't have broadcast TV. I didn't even buy cable. I just completely disassociated myself from all that.
Yeah.
And then,
Do you feel like
uh,
you had a healthy awareness of the world still? Like
then,
there was, yeah.
did I have a healthy awareness of the world? No, in fact, I'm appalled at how little I knew.
Hmm.
I was trying to stay focused on work, and I think I was playing into the ruling class vision of what a working person should do. I was busy trying to, make a living and say, yeah, I don't have time for politics and shit like that. Yeah, that was me when I was younger.
Wow, really?
Yeah. In fact,
Wow.
I've in college, there was this one guy who really, really showed an interest in politics. And I even mocked him. I said, well, people that can actually do real things, they can make and create real things. And people that can't, they're the ones that go into politics. So I feel sorry for having said that to him. So that's an
Wow,
apology to
man.
Mark. Mark, if you remember me, that's an apology to you.
You know, um, I had a pretty healthy awareness of the world. I still understood politics. I still like no, I didn't read the newspaper as much, I guess. But my roommates did, or my neighbors did, and we would have these nightly discussions about politics in general. And they would tell me what was going on in the world, and I would tell them my opinion
Mhm.
about how I would solve it if I was like a politician, and they would laugh at me and tell me that that's like way like left like way on the opposite side of the spectrum here. um and I had a healthy awareness of culture, of when I was in my 20s I could kind of see what was wrong in the society. I'm sure other people could too. But applied to my cultural awareness, um, like living in Costa Rica and Hawaii and in different places, I had a pretty good grasp of like what was really going on. Did I act
I
on it?
think
No.
I do think that people like you, maybe me, who come from different backgrounds and probably born elsewhere outside the US, do have a perspective that people born here in the US don't have. Because we can see the
Hmm.
contrast, even if we were young back then. Because I remember, and maybe I got this from my parents, but because of the way the KMT behaved in Taiwan, my family, my extended family, always had a distrust of government and police.
Right.
And that carried over when we came to the US. So I don't innately think that every police person is evil, but there's a healthy awareness and carefulness when dealing with police.
Yeah.
And, we've always, always known politicians are basically like either in somebody's pocket or a hair's width away from being in somebody's pocket. And with the insider trading right now, I mean, did you know that there's actually a place you can actually go to find out all of Nancy Pelosi's stock holdings and transactions? And that's true of
No.
every member in government. They should not even be allowed to trade. when they're holding
Wow.
government office.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can just follow along with Nancy Pelosi's trades and say, "Oh, I gained because Nancy gained, or I lost, she lost on this." But she's doing very well according to this site.
I don't know. You don't follow her trades? Sorry. Oh,
There's
that's
so much to do.
awful. I'm
Yeah,
gonna
I
tell my
mean,
mom
literally,
that.
how
I'm just teasing.
look, there's a standard saying, right? I forget who said this, but if you're in politics and you're rich, you're a crook.
Yeah.
No ifs, ands, buts about it. And this was said, I think, like 2,000 years ago. Even take a look at the Clintons. They were in government in Arkansas, and then they're worth like tens of millions of dollars, Jeez. People
It,
obviously try to buy influence.
yeah. Yeah. I had a really interesting conversation with the founder of Angel City Sports, the job that I really hope I'm going to get.
Yeah.
It was really interesting. I met with him at a Hyundai dealership because he was getting his
Hmm.
car serviced and he couldn't make a
Hmm.
meeting in the regular office. But we spoke for an hour and a half, and he said that he was really kind of digging into me. He wanted to see what I was all about. So we really did a deep dive into my resume, and I
Hmm.
told him parts of my life. I'm like, fuck it, okay, he's this kind of guy. He wants to see what who he's hiring. All right, I'll let him know
Hmm.
who he's hiring. So at Liberty, I told him the journey of my life as it
Hmm.
translates through my resume. And it was really fascinating because he was just like, "Have you ever thought about going into politics?" I said, "Actually, I did." And then I saw what it was about, and then it turned me off. So,
Hmm.
and so one thing that I told him was having purpose in this life. And he kept saying, "You keep saying purpose. What does that mean? What does that mean to you?" And I said, if you, honestly, if you want to take it apart, I just feel like like this life here has to have some meaning to me. And the meaning has to be connected to everything that I touch, whether it's plants, animals, people. I said that meaning, that purpose is something that I need. I need that connection. I need that deeper feeling. I don't need to just
Hmm.
survive. I need to have a connection to survival,
Hmm.
something beyond politics, and something that I wish politics wish was a driving force in politics and not capitalism.
I came across a quote which is sobering this past week. And I don't remember it verbatim, but I think it said something like, the surest way to unhappiness is to try and make the world a better place.
Aw, stop it. Thanks a lot. You just crushed my dreams in one
But
fell
then on
swoop.
the other hand, one thing that I've said for decades, for a long time, is I'm not here to be happy. Happiness is not the purpose of life.
Yeah,
That's the other thing I say.
yeah.
And finding meaning is very personal.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody can tell you how to define meaning in your life other than yourself.
Yeah.
Now, I don't mean that as a downer, but I do think that it's an indication of how the world is.
Yeah.
And there's so much to do, and each of us can only be a little hummingbird and take enough satisfaction from that and not get so frustrated with that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because even people who have, let's say, a historical reputation for changing the world, they themselves have warts. I think one of the best examples of that is Gandhi. he was taught by me, teachers when I was still young, great man of peace, right? Brought about
Yeah.
nonviolent revolution.
Right.
But then other people tell me, oh, he slept with young girls. Not to have
Mm,
sex with them, but he just wanted to test himself.
interesting.
Now, I haven't verified that, but people have told me that. But I've not been interested enough to really find out, the specifics.
Yeah.
And then people like Steve Covey, Seven Habits people,
Hmm.
supposedly in real life, not a very pleasant guy. I've heard that also.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can help, people's lives. I'm sure a lot of people have benefited from the seven habits of highly successful people, but we shouldn't expect anyone to be perfect.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everybody has warts.
Yeah. Absolutely. I always tell my kids, like, you know, you're gonna have days where you're super happy and things are gonna go your way, and then you're gonna have days where it just feels like it sucks. Just know that when you open your eyes the next day, it's a new day.
Have you heard the
You can
term?
turn stuff around.
Sorry,
No, go ahead.
you weren't
I,
done, and I interrupted you again.
it's okay. I'm done now.
When you said that, I forget. I think it was Nightingale. What was his first name? Who said, "Live life as though you were living in a series of day-type compartments." So each day was like a compartment, and at the end of the day, you shut the door on that one. And the next day, you open up a new compartment. That's your new day.
Yeah,
I think that was kind of similar to the theme that you were alluding to.
yeah, yeah.
There's a song about that, right? It's a new day.
Yeah, there's lots of New Day songs.
Yeah. So what are the kids
Oh,
doing today?
well, hopefully they wake up right now. I'm pretty sure Max is awake, but Damien, I'm pretty sure he's asleep. I woke up at like 3:45 in the morning, and he was still awake because light was still on. So we were supposed to go watch the Avatar, but I kind of want to buy a new shower head. I want to go to Home Depot, buy a new shower head. Um, I have to fix the toilet. I have to buy a new toilet system. I still have to wrap gifts. I still have to buy gifts. I'm still contemplating on taking a couple of days off, and I'm hoping that I do get that job because I think if I do, we might take advantage of the California special and go to Disneyland for a couple of days.
Mm.
And I know the perfect time to go is the weekend before the kids go back to school because everyone will have left for New Year's Eve and New Year's Day, and people will want to go get back into the swing of things with school, and that's perfect. So spend a couple of days in Disneyland the first weekend in January. So
Is
again, that's my.
Melissa in the habit of giving holiday bonuses?
She did not give it this year because she didn't put it in the budget.
Oh, that's right. You would have eyes on all of that.
Yeah, she's all like kind of chuckled and she goes, "Oh yeah, I don't know why I didn't put it in the budget." And I'm like, "Oh my fucking God, really?"
Is that part of the
So
standard template for every year?
Yeah, every year we're supposed to get two bonuses. We're supposed to get a fiscal year bonus, and we're supposed to get like a Christmas bonus, and we didn't because she forgot. Because I don't know, I've been really annoyed kind of these past couple of weeks, but I'm trying to let it go. I'm actually doing a easy job of letting it go these days. Just and I think it's because I've been interviewing a lot, so that helps.
Yes, yes. If you're looking elsewhere with your, eyes and attention, then stuff at United Parents is going to get to you less, it seems.
Yeah, yeah. So, when I've needed her more, like for sponsorships and, high level donations,
Yeah.
um, she's been fucking putting furniture together and rearranging the office.
That's not what a CEO should do. Actually, would Melissa actually give you a recommendation letter if you asked her?
Yeah, she might.
Yeah. It's good to have that.
Yeah.
Yeah. At least it's not so irreparable.
No, no. I'll tell her like part of the truth. Like the reason why I'm leaving is, because of the money. And she knows, for the most part, she knows that I'm gonna have to make, additional income somehow, some way. She even told me, she goes,
Yeah.
if we ever lost you, obviously it would suck for us. She goes, but whatever you need to do for your family is what you need to do for your family. So I think she has an idea.
Well, it could boomerang. I mean, if things didn't work out, and I'm not saying it shouldn't, but if things didn't work out, then if Melissa found out that you're available again, maybe she would value you more.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. That's true. I'm also hoping to get another, like an email or a phone call from this other woman who I'm part of the Association of Fundraising Professionals. I got a scholarship there. I applied for it. I'm like,
Wow.
fuck it, I'm gonna apply for this. So I got a scholarship to be on the association, and this woman had mentioned that she had wanted to hire a contractor to write appeals, and her organization is a travel organization, a nonprofit travel organization, and they own hostels across the nation, and they're part of a huge international hostel thing. So their approach for their nonprofit is education through like cultural experiences or cultural exchange, and
That's
they
awesome.
want, right.
Yeah.
So I applied for that position. I hit her up. I was like, hey, I'm like, I used to live in this country, in that country. I like writing appeals, and I am a woman of color and of culture too. So I
Hmm.
had a Zoom meeting with her, and I just gave her several ideas off the top. I said,
Hmm.
you see my resume. We're both development directors. And I said, I obviously can use some extra income, but this would be more of an easy thing for me. Um,
Hmm.
it's not much, it would be probably like $500 a month, but, honestly, it wouldn't really be that many hours, to be honest. But
Hmm.
the writing and the appeal sounds so freaking cool. So I told her, she's all like, oh, we're struggling with this. Um, and I just said, well, you can approach it from an educational standpoint, and just kind of gave her, an idea of stewarding as opposed to like asking for money.
Hmm.
Um, Once you steward, you can go into asking for money. And then she said that she was having a hard time gathering stories from travelers. And then I asked her, if your donor database is old and they're filled with people who had the same experiences, why don't you ask your donors?
Hmm.
Because that would be a really cool perspective. Because these days, a lot of kids are traveling, and it would make them so happy if they heard from the OG travelers, the
Yeah.
prior to Instagram travelers. Like that would be pretty rad, wouldn't it? And
See,
then
that's some
I
very valuable free consulting you just gave her.
yeah, exactly. And then she was just like, I would love to work with you. And I said, yeah, well, just let me know. And then she said, that she is kind of interviewing more people. And I said, hey, I'll just be really honest. I don't know if this was a good thing to say, but I just felt, you know, moved to say this. I said, like, I know you're interviewing people. If you feel like there's somebody of a better fit, great. If that person doesn't work out, I said, please reach out to me. And if your budget doesn't support it or something, I said, I love giving these ideas. Like, to me, it's nothing. And then she asked about like the salary requirements or the fee, and I'm like, honestly, whatever you got. Like, she told me what the budget was. And I said, to me, that's like fun. It's like making money for fun.
Yeah. Well, you could get yourself hooked up as kind of an advisory role, not necessarily so much for execution, but, in this kind of advisory role, you can still get a few hundred a month for that, it would seem to me.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, that might be more palatable and easier for her to start with. And then she could, ramp up your engagement as she sees the value,
Mm-hmm.
even if she hires somebody else to actually do the real writing.
Honestly, am more excited about this. It's too bad. It's like it's contracting,
Yeah.
and it's only contracting for 3 months. But she did say that they review their budget in April, or their
Uh-huh.
their budget gets approved in April. So she said, hypothetically, if you start from January through March, she said then it could they could have a healthier budget and they could do more.
There's your opening. There it is.
Exactly.
Get on it.
So I'm hoping I get that one too. I want to get both of them.
Okay.
Both of them
Don't
for
just hope.
money.
Put down a date on which you follow up with her and say, hey, yeah, I've been thinking about this. And, if you
But
got it possible, then let's sign it up this week. Otherwise, put me into an advisory role.
yeah, yeah. She said that I already followed up via email, and she said that she was going to get in touch with me in the next 2 weeks. They've got their year end appeal.
Okay. Yeah. Makes sense.
And so I think not this coming week, but the following week, I'll just drop her a line and
Sure.
say hello if I don't hear from her,
Yeah.
and just say, I know you said you'll follow up with me, but I just want to say hi and hope everything's okay. And
Well, this would
I'm
be a
still
real
very
test
interested.
because the last time, somebody said this to you, it was Melissa and she never followed through. So this is the time for you to sort of see whether she follows through.
I know. I love when other people's strengths, when other fun development people say, my strength is this.
Mhm.
And I always feel like in fun development, you have to be everything, right? You have to be the face, you have to be the writer, you have to that's why I kind of like it in a way, because it challenges you to be everything. It really gets you out of your comfort zone. But I'm realizing some people don't like to write. Some people don't like to put out that communication because it's not their strong suit. And I'm meeting people where it's not their strong suit to do that. And I personally think that's my strong suit. Like, I can talk to people, but people annoy me, to be really honest, like more than anything. And it's fucking draining. Like, I don't want to be on all the time. Like, I know how it feels. It's draining. Like, these interviews have been draining. At the end of the hour, like, I could barely remember shit that I wanted to be over with. And so it's awesome talking to fund development directors and executive directors that go, I can talk to people. I just can't do this. And I'm like, well, then I'm your gal. So that's what I was trying to do with Melissa. Like, I know she can't do any of the stuff that I can do. And so I don't know why she just insists on trying to do it, but oh well, you know. See, that's like playing on people's strengths is what I love. That to me, uh-oh, hello? Uh-oh, I can't hear you. Maybe it's me? No. Hold on, okay? I'm gonna switch to speaker. Maybe it's my AirPods. How am I gonna do this? Right there. Okay, testing. 1, 2, 3. Oh no, you sound terrible. Uh-oh. Hey Sam, if you can hear me, I'm just gonna it's already 10. We should just, you know, go. So I'm gonna message you because I cannot hear you. It's like jumbled. So I'm gonna get off and then I'll message you. Okay, bye.